Ladies and gentlemen, a very exciting Victory Monday, a heart attack, blood pressure game. Fourth of the season, fifth of the season, maybe each and every single game this team plays, they have you on the edge of your damn seat, but we pull it off in Foxborough. We're going to be unpacking each and every single detail that we witnessed as we were able to sleep on it. Let's go around the table and see how the guys are doing. Kev, what's going on?
Couldn't be happier, guys. I mean, look, Bills are the only team in the league to have a winning record when down double digits in the third quarter. How about that? 3-2 when down 10+ points in the late third quarter.
Look at that.
It's insanity. It's insanity. I mean, ultimately, they're a team that is by all metrics, plus 120 or roughly in point differential in the second half. They're the best third quarter team in the league, best third quarter defense in the league, best third quarter offense. I mean, I don't, it's weird. I don't understand it yet. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, guys, but it's enjoyable. It leads for never being out of games. And I think it makes for a really great experience. I think that the Bills almost bait you in the first half, but it's getting a little bit close. But they're baiting you in a way. They're definitely baiting you on offense for sure. Now, the reason the Bills offense doesn't get going, I guess we could have a discussion on that one, but it's been a wild ride, and Dan, they're right where they always are. The only difference is the Patriots just happen to have a game on them right now. Other than that, this is about where they are every year.
It's about where they are. Z-Bot, what's going on, man? How's life?
I've been saying someone needs to inform these Buffalo Bills that I'm a father now. I have a family. I am going to find myself in an early grave watching this football team. I mean, you just nailed it, Kev. The amount of games where they've trailed and then come back to win, the amount of games in which the opponent scores 30, yet they still find a way to win. We're now in back-to-back weeks where this team was just dead to rights. You're down 10 with 5 minutes left against the Bengals. You win. You're down 21 to a team that's on a 10-game win streak, a team that had never relinquished a 17-point lead at home in their franchise history, a team that would have won the division in that game, and you find a way to pull it off. I still can't believe that they won that football game. I can't. Yeah. Rico was telling me after the game yesterday, never a doubt. I said, I want a polygraph right now. I said, I want you on a polygraph, because I had a doubt. I had several doubts. In fact, I had a tweet drafted up saying, this is essentially the low point for this organization, getting swept by this team. And not only do you get swept, you get dominated. They win the division on your watch, and they completely flipped the script. The difference between the first and second half for this team, I cannot wrap my mind around it. You go from not being able to get a first down. Josh Allen has negative passing yards deep into the second quarter. That same offense would then proceed to rattle off 5 consecutive touchdown drives and be borderline unstoppable. I mean, Josh Allen looked like the best to ever do it. Towards the end there, James Cook looks like the best offensive player in the league outside of the quarterback position down the stretch. Dawson Knox has become George Kittle, right, the last couple of weeks. And then this defense, for as bad as they can be on any given drive, all of a sudden, when you need them the most, there they are. Joey Bosa, the last couple of weeks, massive plays, one against Pittsburgh. Obviously, in this game, batting down Drake Maye's pass to essentially end it. You're without Christian Benford. You still find a way to overcome that. This is an offense that put up 24 points on you in the first half, and outside of that Henderson run in the second half, what did they do? They didn't do anything. Nothing. They were completely shut down. So this team is they are a 53-man heart attack, essentially. They have combined to create nothing but high blood pressure for me and the rest of Bills Mafia. But luckily for us, this roller coaster ride that we've been on throughout the duration of the season, we've been getting off the ride saying, man, that was terrifying, but I had a ball. Let's get back on it again. And we keep getting back on it. And luckily, it hasn't really burned us. My only concern is, does it come back to bite them in the playoffs? It's one thing to spot the Bengals a 10-point lead at half. When you're down 21, there is a massive, massive difference.
Oh, there was.
Being down that and then being down that what they were in this game. But credit to this team for continuing to find ways. I still have no idea how they do it, but they're doing it, and they're 10-4. They're cruising, and they just snap a 10-game win streak for a team that I think many people thought, had they won that game, would, take the baton from the Bills and be the team to beat in the AFC.
And so I thought it was over at the half myself.
Yeah.
Right. Like just going into it at 28-7. And I recognized that we were, a second half team, good offensively and defensively. But then I was like, it's a divisional game. Like all of that stuff typically goes out the window, but that trend remained, right? Like we see this Buffalo Bills team at one point, like you alluded to, minus the Henderson run. At one point during that second half, we had them at 34 yards of total offense. And it's crazy of what Babbage or McDermott or whoever is calling plays at this point. We don't even know. It's probably McDermott. Shut him down by making some of the best adjustments I have seen. Kev, what were some of the adjustments you saw that the Buffalo Bills defense made that completely shut down everything the Patriots were trying to do?
Yeah, one stat to bring up just briefly, and we'll get into that real quickly. Z-Bot mentioned it about being letting up 31 points. Teams are 8-89-1. The Bills are 4-0. So, just thought that one was pretty interesting to kind of recap what Z-Bot was saying. But as far as the Bills, I mean, they make adjustments based on the offenses. Someone's going to figure this out. Offenses have been showing the Bills, like you had Drake Maye running an end around throw to Mac Hollins, like pitch back, fake, like they were pulling everything out. And this was with 2 weeks of prep. Don't forget that the Patriots had a bye to plan for this game. Absurd scheduling. Maybe they thought they'd be 6-10, 6-11, or at this time 6-8 or something. But like absurd scheduling, like it completely to have important division games with an extra team off of rest. Vrabel's 6-0, McDermott's 9-0. Like that's not fair at all. So let's throw that aside for a second. But Dan, McDermott adjusted, and he adjusted really quickly. One way he did it, he locked down Kayshon Boutte with Maxwell Harrison. Maxwell Harrison had a heck of a game. He shut him down the entire day. The only thing Boutte was able to do was a catch that hit the ground early on in the
that wasn't even a catch.
Don't even get me started on that.
Let's talk about the expedited reviews working all night, all day long, except for that play. So absolutely wild that you're in an away stadium and you have to risk a timeout, which are really important in important games. We yell at McDermott all the time for wasting them. So like there's no replay. So you need to have expedited reviews, especially for the road team, no matter who the road team is. Absolutely egregious. But things that they were able to do, Dan, they were able to create havoc. They were able to close rushing lanes outside of one ridiculous run by Henderson that truthfully should have been a loss. But he just got away from it. Other than that, they couldn't run the ball at all in the second half, which you wouldn't think by the box score. And they had one big run. They weren't able to move the ball at all. They went 4-and-out with the game. Drake Maye went 4-and-out with the game on the line and got by Joey Bosa in a D-end drop coverage contained quarterback spy. So ultimately McDermott did pull some stops in that game and confused Maye, like ultimately confused him all day. He had an arm punt in there and he was really shook in a game where there was elements. It was important as the Bills started to come back. And I said, if the Bills got stopped out of the third quarter, that's when I was going to join you both and be like, yeah, this puppy's over with. But just when you get the ball, they pray for these moments. They take the ball second. They had something up their sleeves, and just to be able to get it back a little bit closer changes the likelihood of a win in that game. And analytics should have been down to like 1%. It was still hovering around like 15% win probability. So they knew that the Bills analytically may have a little bit in their cannon before this thing is all said and done. And that score could have actually been worse, in my opinion.
And so it's really crazy about Drake Maye too, because like why I think he was so successful so far this season is that like he's forced to make quick decisions. He's forced under pressure. He's better under pressure, at least seemingly. I saw this Bills team like revert back into just rushing 3 in the second half too. And like you just like let him sit back there in his own head. It almost seemed like that, like he was like being hesitant of like where he wanted to go, dropping more DBs into coverage. I wonder if he adjusts to that going into the playoffs. I wonder if this is enough for the Baltimore Ravens, or pray to God the Miami Dolphins to pull that out on week 18. Maybe they do something similar. Z-Bot, thoughts, man, the defensive adjustments.
Yeah, well, I think there was an emphasis on taking away the legs of Drake Maye. Thank God, because in the first half, he might as well have been Barry Sanders out there. They let him walk in for 2 touchdowns. He's jogging all over him. They took that away, and that was critical. And, you know, the other thing, too, is they did get home on Maye in the second half. They really weren't able to get after him in the first half. They got a couple of big sacks in the second half. The individual effort by some of these guys, though, I thought were huge. Max Hairston essentially took away Boutte from this football game. You mentioned it. He had one catch that was not a catch. I've already ranted about it enough, so I'll spare you. But my God, that was one of the more egregious sequences I've seen in the entire season here. Outside of that, he eliminated him from the football game. Stephon Diggs was completely eliminated from the football game, especially when you compare the week 5 game and what he did to Buffalo. He dominated them. He had 11 receptions. He took over the football game. He had a bunch of massive clutch receptions in that game as well. He was a non-factor. Outside of Henderson, it really was a Drake Maye scrambling first half and then not a whole lot much of anything else. Joey Bosa was big. Max Harrison, like I mentioned, big. I thought Matt Milano had one of his best games of the season. I thought he was huge in this football game. Tre'Davious White, he's susceptible any given week to a couple of plays allowed, but I thought he stepped up in this game too and had a couple of big plays too. So there was some individual effort there that I thought was really palpable and I thought overcame the first half woes in that second half. Benford not being out there and the ability for them to kind of size down the passing game impact in comparison to what it looked like in week 5, I thought was impressive. But once again, we go back to what this team's Achilles heel has been for a while now. It's not just this season, and it is allowing massive runs that result in points. You had 2 rushes in this game for 50-plus yards and 2 touchdowns. That to me has been one of the biggest issues the Bills have faced the last couple of seasons. It happened in the Baltimore game. It happened in the Falcons game. Yep, the Miami game, and the second time around this game again. And I know we say it all the time. If you were to eliminate these, what would the Bills D look like? The problem is they're not eliminating them. It is routine. Now, there are games where they do step up. You play the Carolina Panthers. They were able to shut down that run game when I thought they weren't going to be able to. But in this particular game, the main thing that stands out to me with this defense, and it stood out to me throughout the year here, in big spots in the second half, this defense has become reliable. If you need a stop, if you need them to make a game-altering play, they have done it more often than not. The difference recently has been the offense has reciprocated the favor in the second half. The last 3 weeks, they reciprocated the favor against the Steelers. They reciprocated the favor against the Bengals. And, of course, they did so against the Patriots, rattling off 5 consecutive touchdowns with 1 being before the half. So when this offense and this defense are playing in sync like they have been in the second half, this is the best team in football. The second half version of the Buffalo Bills is a Super Bowl caliber football team. I have no idea why they are unable to unleash any of that in the first half. It's not like they're just a little bit worse in the first half. They're dramatically worse. They go from a team that looks closer to the Raiders than the Rams of the world in the first half. Then they go to a team in the second half that's in a class of their own. But if this team can find a way to channel what they're doing in the second half in the postseason, that is the most dangerous team in the AFC.
It's kind of interesting too, like on the offensive side of the football, like why does it take them until the second half to get going? Like right on the defense, like Kevin always says, like maybe Sean McDermott's trying to bait, right? Like these opposing offenses, have them show you their pitches and they make their adjustments there. I'm having a hard time finding an answer for this offense in the first half. Maybe it's an ego thing for Joe Brady saying, no, the game plan is the game plan. We're going to keep on doing this and it's going to work all up until halftime when he says, all right, screw it. All right, we'll make some adjustments at the end. Kev, what do you think? What's the deal with our slow starts in the first half and us looking like an entire different squad, like in the second?
I think there's a little bit of everything. Like the Bills are slow getting off the bus, like just they are. I think other teams are knowing the pressing nature of having to get up on the Bills and throwing what they have in their playbook early and often against a Josh Allen-led team. They don't want to get behind. They know it's over. They know if the Bills get ahead 7, 10, 12, 14, you just can't stop their running game. The Bills are still the number 1 rushing team in the league and ran it efficiently yesterday. As I said, the Patriots defense all week long, 25th DVOA. Guys, you want to know a factor? Going into the game, the Patriots had 6.6 estimated wins per FTN. I mean, like, do we think that there's 500 team? Maybe they're better than that, but the analytics don't think so. So, and you know, it's certainly a really interesting debate how much you care about the schedule, how much you care about their performance in that schedule. And I think the Bills, they threw a lot out. Like I said, they ran a flea flicker end around reverse to Drake Maye, who threw a drag route to Matt Collins for 12 yards or something. Wasn't like the world's biggest play, but they were pulling out the stops in that game. And it showed. Like the Bills did not really think that. I mean, May had ran, 6 designated runs all year. So they did not anticipate Drake Maye running they were in coverage. They said, we're not letting Stephon Diggs beat us. And they didn't. That's what they said. We're not letting Stephon Diggs beat us. And that was their game plan all day. And maybe the original counter by their entire programming was, okay, they're going to probably target Diggs. Let's try to do other things. So they ran the ball on quarterback draws. So the Bills adjusted to that quickly, put a spy. All right, fine. We'll put a spy in here. And, shout out to Trey White as well. He allowed just one catch, a crazy a jumping catch by Matt Collins. That was a good coverage. And that was it. 6 quarterback rating when targeted. 6. So
Trey White, man.
Trey White and Maxwell Harrison were on when even Taron Johnson probably had his best game of the year for, he's had some struggles this season. Trey White has been every bit as much as what you're looking for from a backup boundary. And those 2 guys without Christian Benford really did stuff. I really thought that was going to be an issue. They really stepped up to shut down Holland's Booty and Pop Douglas, and the entire team in general shut down Stephon Diggs. If you're going to shut down the New England passing, which they did, they were trying to run their way to a victory, and they almost did it. But Drake Maye's got to show me a lot more in the fourth quarter. He has no come behind victories, guys.
Wow, 0. That's a stat right there. Has no come from behind victories so far in 2025.
They were was that the first time they were losing all season? Or excuse me, in this late in the second half in this entire 10-game winning streak. And it was like 17 seconds and the Bills went down and scored again. But I mean, he hasn't had to, in fairness to him, I guess. And then last year they were just bad. So, but he doesn't have one. And certainly he's got to prove it against teams like the Bills, Chargers, Jags, others coming up here soon. And they lost it against the Steelers as well. They turned the ball over a ton of times. So their only real bigger tests, in my opinion, beside a beaten up Tampa team, they failed.
So what are y'all's theories rate as into what has been the key difference from the passing side of things for the past 3 weeks compared to earlier in the season? Because we heard the fans say, oh, it's guys aren't creating separation, nothing's happened, but things have clearly changed, whether or not that's just sort of making the transition over into targeting tight ends more often. Maybe it has to do with Brandon Cooks playing the Amari Cooper role that is scheming other guys open out in the field in front of them. It's clearly different. And because we're seeing Josh Allen coming off of a heater for the past 3. What is your theories on why all of a sudden this team is starting to look more normal compared to last year in 2024? Z-Bot.
I think you just nailed the 2 key components here. For starters, Josh Allen's playing out of this world. I mean, that's the key. When Josh Allen's playing like the MVP, this team is almost impossible to beat. I mean, if you want to beat that team, then you're going to have to do with what the Rams did last year. You're going to have to score 44 points. You're going to have to just completely outpace the other side of the ball. And you're going to have to find a way to just score a couple more points, which is awfully difficult when you got Josh Allen doing what he's been doing as of late. I mean, you really are going to have your best offensive performance in order to beat Josh Allen when he's on the heater that he's currently on right now. That's the main key. In the last couple of games too, what do you know? Josh Allen hasn't turned the ball over. They've won both games. That's also massively critical. Yeah, it's huge.
Look at that.
Huge. And that was becoming a bit of an issue. It really was. He was turning the ball over far more than we were used to last season. That's for sure. Then the other thing you nailed too, that I think is a huge part of this, is that the tight ends have become the focal point of the passing offense, like they should be. You look at the passing statistics for wide receivers week in and week out, and they are about as bad as it gets in the NFL. When you look at those numbers, it doesn't get much worse. Yeah, Khalil Shakir had a decent game, but the thing of it is decent wouldn't even be the right word, because Khalil Shakir 5 for 65, that is quite literally about as good as it's going to get right now for the wide receiver core in Buffalo. But when I got Dawson Knox putting together these 2 games like he just has in succession, Dalton Kincaid, now Jackson Hawes gives you, a play or 2 a game too, where he steps up and makes an impact play. It's these tight ends, it's Josh Allen, and then of course James Cook has a legitimate bid for the offensive player of the year. This man is unbelievable. He feels underpaid, which is insane. 4 months ago, he's in a holdout for a contract that many people in the fan base did not want to pay him. This guy has been incredible. So the Buffalo Bills offense right now is quite literally winning through their tight ends, quarterback, and running back. They do not have a wide receiver core that's going to get better during this season. That's just not going to happen. I mean, if you're waiting for some savior to come and Brandon Cook steps up and goes nuts, or Gabe Davis, I wouldn't put my money on it. But where I would put my money on is a team that is led by Josh Allen playing the way that he has been, James Cook running the ball the way he has been, and then getting these tight ends involved the way that they have. That is a recipe for success, and you've seen it the last 3 weeks, and they're on a 3-game win streak as a result.
And so what do you got on that, Kev?
Yeah, I've been doing some number crunching, though. Their receiving core is poor. I mean, I don't think there's going to be anybody anywhere, any content creator, podcaster, media member,
Who says
national
it's
media
good?
member who says it's good. But if you factor in the O-line, the running back room, and the tight ends, their EPA per play and their EPA affected, and ultimately DVOA is number one, meaning so they have the best set of weapons beside the receiver room in the NFL. So it's just the way they're built. I think this is just what Joe Brady does. Maybe a little bit to last year when Diggs wanted that trade in April the 2nd after being restructured. He's like, I don't really want to play in this offense. Josh keeps getting to pick these O coordinators. They're not suitable for me, blah, blah, blah. I want to go play with a young quarterback, whatever the situation may have been inside the locker room. Clearly was because of the way that they build this offense. Having the number one offensive line, tight end room. I mean, Dawson Knox is having the best year of his career based on his advanced analytics. You would never guess that. You would never, maybe you would, but you would have never have assumed that, including his blocking and his receiving ability. He's the best year of his career. Minus even the year he had those touchdowns. Just everything that he's been able to do analytically has been super valuable. I mean, he's a huge part of this offense right now. He's a huge part of this offense to cover those two tight ends. It's super tough. And the Bills need to do something at the receiver position, specifically boundary receiver. Of course they do, as soon as they can, which would be March. But prior to that, the only thing they have making up for him is this running game travels. We've seen it travel. Zebot just mentioned that James Cook has a legitimate chance to be the offensive player of the year. He really does. He's right there in that voting. So you factor in them, the backup running backs, you factor in the tight ends and how good the O-line is, number 1 and 2 in all metrics, number 2 in run block win rate, number 2 in pass block win rate last week going in. We'll see how the numbers look after yesterday. And the EPA from their tight ends is as high as anyone, in the running backs, obviously. Ty Johnson has a really good EPA in certain situations because how about this? In that third down, first down that they got to win the game, that EPA is humongous to be able to convert that. So that is just an example of having that basically pony package, and you're really not sure who that ball is going to. Like, you have no idea. As a defense, you have the offensive player of the year, you have the potential MVP again, and at least in the top 3, and then you have a guy that's decent at playing fullback essentially in a pony pack. You have no idea where that ball's going, none. So ultimately those, and then you have 2 tight ends obviously, and then Jackson Hawes who can block and catch. And Jackson Hawes is like 8th in the league in total EPA, guys, from a tight end. So it's a really, really good unit. Give me a receiver 1 and you're looking at Ram style offense.
Yeah, man, a dynasty really at the end of the day. So I've been crunching the numbers, and so I've been trying to figure out what the Bills' chances are of winning the AFC East. It's not completely out of the window here, folks.
What do you have it at, Dan, currently?
We have a 19% chance of winning the AFC East per FTN. And the easy, clean way is that we see the New England Patriots drop to the Baltimore Ravens and either the Miami Dolphins or the New York Jets. If they beat the Ravens, all we would need to do is us win out, and they would need to ultimately end up losing to either the Miami Dolphins or the Jets. I trust the Dolphins more than the Jets. I'm not sure how much that goes with you guys. I don't trust either of them, but I trust the Dolphins more to somehow pull it off with that run game at least. It's funny too, because like when you go into the tiebreakers, like we already have a head-to-head, which is tied.
They have the division record.
By the way, they don't even need to lose that Ravens game for the Bills to win the
division.
division.
They only need to lose that Ravens game if you think you're losing to the Eagles. That's the only count. That's the only counter.
Mm-hmm. So that would be it. But like every single tiebreaker from what I have seen, and let me know, it would have to go to conference record with the tiebreaker if we ultimately end up finishing 13-4.
The Bills will have that.
And the Bills would have the conference record. They
have a common opponent's record that will end up the same. If the Bills lose to the Eagles, though, let's say that they'll win on conference tiebreaker too. Excuse me, on a common opponent's tiebreaker, which to break a division is actually before AFC record. So they will most likely both be 2-1 in games where they didn't have the same schedule, so that should wash out. But if the Bills lose to the Eagles, which is an uncommon game, they will win that tiebreaker too. So it doesn't matter. They'll have the AFC tiebreaker. They'll have the strength of victory tiebreaker. They'll have the strength of schedule tiebreaker. They'll have pretty common opponents tiebreaker. They'll have every single, and they went 1-1. They'll have every single tiebreaker against each other minus the division record, because the Miami Dolphins are going to affect this division. They're going to either give it to the Bills by beating the Patriots, or they're going to give it to the Patriots by beating the Bills in week 10. It's as simple as that. Like, that's the best way you can possibly look at it, Dan. And FTN's a little more down on the Bills because they only have us at like 8th or 9th DVOA. but ESPN Football Power Index has it as a 35% probability, and Playoff Predictor and Playoff Status.com has it also at around a 25% probability. So both a little bit higher than FTN.
So for some reason, I'm still kind of thinking that we do end up going in as a wild card, but I'm hopeful. I would love to have a repeat of 2023.
The 6th seed? Is that what you got us at?
6th seed, I think.
Yeah. We can't.
And honestly, I would like the 6th seed based off of how it's playing out. I would like the 6th seed. Sign me up for going into Jacksonville. I'm sorry, I'm not buying into Jacksonville. I think their quarterback play is atrocious. I think Liam Cohen should get the coach of the year by leading the Jags to where they are as Trevor Lawrence is their quarterback. I think that's a feat in and of itself. I would be fine with going up against the Jags. I'd be fine with going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the wild card round on the road. Yeah.
So then you would have a path of the Jags, then the Broncos, then the Texans or Patriots.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. Listen, I would love that, like personally. As far as the Broncos, and so I look at it from this perspective, really outside of Hufanga, like who they ended up bringing in this offseason, it's the exact same defense that we hung 40 on last year in the playoffs. And so I think that this team would perform well against Denver's defense once again. I would say really out of all of the teams that I wouldn't want to see in the playoffs, it would probably be Houston. I'd say Houston would probably be the only one. And I'm not sure. And so if y'all's perspective has changed now, but since there's no Chiefs in the playoffs this year, there is no Joe Burrow in the playoffs this year, there's a likelihood that there's no Lamar Jackson in the playoffs this year. My perspective is this. My expectations are at such an all-time high that we better go to Santa Clara this year. Like, I would be exceptionally disappointed if we didn't end up getting in there because we clearly have the best quarterback with the most experience going in on the AFC side. There's no excuses for me right now. Z-Bot, thoughts on the AFC East, playoff picture, opponents, the whole thing. Go ahead.
Absolutely zero excuse. You got guys like Greg Cosell, Colin Cowherd, Doug Flutie ripping this roster, and I think they make some very valid points. This is not the best Buffalo Bills team Josh Allen's been the quarterback of. You could argue it's one of the poorer ones, really, based on the way things have gone. Right now, the defense getting run all over and the wide receiver core being what it is. However, that's not going to matter to anybody because if Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and most notably Patrick Mahomes are not in the playoff picture and the Buffalo Bills lose to CJ Stroud or Trevor Lawrence or Drake Maye or Bo Nix, that's all anybody's going to care about. That's all anybody's going to talk about. The pressure has never been higher. If you lose to the Kansas City Chiefs again, if they were to have made it for a 5th year, nobody's going to be stunned. You've already lost 4 times. It is the status quo. It's the norm. Nobody's going to be blown away that you lost it again. But you're going to be blown away if the Bills find a way to lose to the aforementioned quarterbacks that you just mentioned. I mean, the list of those quarterbacks when compared to Josh Allen, it's not even close. Josh Allen is bar none the best quarterback in the AFC. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. But when you're looking at the AFC playoff picture, I don't think it's really comparable right now. So that's all that's going to be talked about. The pressure has never been higher on this team, and in particular, Sean McDermott. The one team that has been your Achilles heel is not in it. The other team that you lost disgracefully to in the divisional round in the Cincinnati Bengals, they're not in it. There is absolutely no excuse. No, it's not the best football team. Likely you're going to be on the road throughout the duration. Nobody's going to care about any of that. Kansas City is gone, which means this is Buffalo's most optimal opportunity to get things done here. Now you're looking at the division. I think there's a chance. I don't like how Philly's playing at all. I mean, we got the Cleveland Browns are around the corner this upcoming weekend. And even their defense now is susceptible to getting rolled. We just saw what the Bears did to them. So you're looking at that game and the Jets game in the final week there with the red helmets. I can't imagine the Bills find a way to lose wearing those bad boys. It comes down to that Eagles game. You go back to the Miami game the first time around against the New England Patriots. It took a Patriots kick return to win that football game. I know New England's rattled off win after win after win, and I would, if I had to put money on it, I would put money on New England to win the football game. But there is certainly a chance Miami wins it. Miami's been playing some of the best football in the league the past month. They haven't lost since firing their GM, and that streak started by really destroying Buffalo. They pounded the Bills, and that's where it started. There is an opportunity there. I am absolutely bummed the Green Bay Packers could not find a way to beat Denver, because that same path that would lead the Bills to an AFC East title could have also led them to an improbable 1 seed.
Oh,
now, Denver could still falter. I doubt it. Mahomes out for the year. They still play them. You're not taking the Chiefs to beat them really, you probably wouldn't take him to beat him with Mahomes this year. Without him, there's just not a prayer. But the division's still on the line. Look, I pretty much in my mind accepted the fact New England's probably going to win it, and that's fine. You know, they had a great bounce back year. They have earned the ability to win the division should they win it. But most importantly, what anybody cares about, what all that matters, it's the postseason. All of these teams the Bills will draw, they will be expected to beat, no matter where they're playing, who the team is. That's going to be the expectation. You just saw the Bills go into Foxborough, a team on a 10-game win streak, who already beat the Bills on the road earlier in the year. The Bills were still favored. I would bet you any amount of money that in the postseason, the Bills will be favored in every game. That's going to be the expectation. Are they going to be able to do it? I've said it all year long. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills went all the way the playoff picture's been painted this year. I also wouldn't be stunned if they got bounced, because if they play a game like they did, against the Atlanta Falcons, the Houston Texans, fill in the blank, any of those teams can beat them. But the ultimate point here, the pressure's never been higher. The Chiefs are out. The Bengals are out. The Ravens could be out. That means it's the Buffalo Bills year. And if they don't take advantage, then it's a massive, massive missed opportunity.
And so for the people in the chat saying that Josh Allen has never won an away playoff game, he's had 3.
All against 2 against the Chiefs and one
was Houston. His
overtime.
Second year. Yeah. Right in overtime. And then 2 were in Kansas City like 2 years ago. So
and they got hosed in that Houston game.
That.
Yeah, they had the Illuminati come out of the locker room to overturn that one play, and the rest was history.
Yeah.
I heard that guy was since let go, by the way. I heard that.
Oh,
he was I believe it. No one even knows who that guy was.
It was a little too late.
Came out of the tunnel. No one knows where that
wearing like a trench coat. He was in all black. I've never seen anything like it.
The returner didn't follow the rule. Like I think it would have been cheap, of course, but like at the very least, that's intention. That is an illegal forward pass. The very least.
Yeah.
Common sense prevails. I'll never forget Booger McFarland saying that. I said, listen, there's common sense. There's the rule book. Which one are we following here? Because if we're following common sense, then the NFL is not doing a very good job. Because on a weekly basis, I'm watching common sense being thrown in the garbage bin on a weekly basis. So don't give me common sense.
Don't give me that.
The end zone is horrific. Like that's not common sense.
Common sense would be you have the now the incredible addition of the replay assist. Common sense would lead you to believe that that's being used adequately and that's enhancing the game. No, it's making the game worse. So miss me with that. I hate it,
man. And you pick and choose when to use replay assist. That's the NFL for you, brother. That's what it is. Kev, has your expectations changed for how far you would like to see the Buffalo Bills go?
Go ahead. Yeah, it's gotten better. Like, honestly, at some point, or maybe earlier this year when they dropped a couple in a row, I was like, I don't know how this year is going to turn out. But as the teams played better, they've started to find ways to win late. These are all 5-2 against teams of 500 or better. Like, these are all things that bode extremely the winning road games now. In general, like going into New England and winning is something you're going to have to do soon anyways. You can put up that kind of points and that kind of speed and really control games. Like, Dan, that's I'm just going to pick the best player in the playoffs, and it's Josh Allen. I know Matt Stafford's probably going to win MVP, but it's Josh Allen's the best player in the playoffs. So, quite frankly, and it's not even at least on the AFC side, it's not even close. Like Drake Maye is probably next. Like, and you guys know I'm not the largest Drake Maye fan, as I stated earlier this season. Rushing throws, that kind of performance is unacceptable in my opinion. You need to will your team to a division title and not give the Bills any hope at that thing. And then just be playing for really seeding if you're the Patriots. Got a long way to go, in my opinion, and a lot of developmental factors. And he got rattled. So we'll see how that all turns out for the rest of his career. He's only a second-year guy. Josh Allen wasn't perfect either in 2019, that 2019 season we're talking about. But ultimately, Josh Allen was pitching the ball to Dawson Knox in the middle of playoff games. Like, that's just what happens, guys. But no, without Mahomes, probably without Lamar Jackson, without Burrow, I was almost without the Texans at one point. Like it's their path, man. I mean, 3 road games in a row is tough. I want to try to steal a home game somehow out of this. That's the only reason I want the 5 seed. I really want the 5 seed, but the Chargers with their AFC record have lost really only NFC games. Is going to kill the Bills for that 5 seed. So we got some work to do, but that 5 seed path from Pittsburgh then to maybe Denver, New England, like, dude, come on. That's the path. I can't say what'll happen if they make it when you're playing the Rams, possibly, but they lost to the Panthers. Maybe they lose in the division round if the Panthers or Bucks go to their place again.
So that's a hell of a hypothetical. Would you rather get bounced in the AFC Championship by Drake Maye and the New England Patriots, or make it to the Super Bowl and improve to 0-5 in all Super Bowl attempts? It's a tough conversation to have. Ziba.
Not tough for me. Make it to the Super Bowl and lose 40-0, get to one. They have got to get to one.
There you go.
And if you lose to the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship, then I mean, then I thought it would be just a seismic blemish on McDermott's resume if they were to have gotten swept yesterday and then allowed them to win that division on their dime and then maybe get the 1 seed, which is something the Bills have not done with McDermott. I thought it would have just been. And then when you also factor in not challenging that non-completion, that incompletion that should have been called in the first quarter, if they would have lost that game, that would have been a low point in Sean McDermott's career, in my opinion. It would be even lower if you lose to this team in the AFC Championship. I mean, that would just be inexcusable. To get to the AFC Championship without Mahomes there, just to lose to the Patriots, Drake Maye's second season, Mike Vrabel's first year as the head coach, and you lose to that team in the biggest spot of your career, it would be inexcusable. And I think that you would buy a lot of goodwill from a lot of people if you just got there. I've been saying this for the longest time. This fan base, this team deserves at least the ability to go and celebrate making the Super Bowl. I've talked about this forever, and people get on me. They're like, "Oh, well, it doesn't mean anything, whatever." Well, that's you. I'm thinking about it from my perspective. That week buildup there, that 2-week buildup between games, the championship weekend and the Super Bowl, the ability to bask in that and have the opportunity to go to win one. I've wanted to experience that my entire life. So just for the love of God, at least give us that and then get to the game and please, for the love of God, win it. But at least give me the opportunity to have an ability to win it. You cannot lose in the AFC Championship, in particular to the New England Patriots. You simply can't. So that, to me, Dan, that's an easy one. I also think that the NFC currently hosts the best teams in football. I think the Rams, I think the Seahawks, I think that they currently have, it's not even close really to me. I think the NFC is by far the better division or the better conference this year. I don't think anybody would be stunned if the Bills lost to any of those teams, because just let's be honest, they're better football teams right now. That they're just better football teams than the Bills. And that's not an indictment on Josh Allen like everybody wants to make it out to be. It's an indictment on the rest of the team because they're just not the best version of themselves. But Josh Allen is Josh Allen, and that's why they are where they are right now. But give me that berth to the Super Bowl, Dan, and then we'll see what happens from there.
And so what about you, Kev? And so what would hurt more to you right now?
I mean, it's tough because I agree with Z-Bot. Like, get there, and then you had that, like, you've been there, you get to enjoy the 2 weeks, the bye week, and you get to enjoy the festivities and the feeling and, like, everybody talking about your team and just the whole shebang. So I agree there, but I just ultimately think, and then having the right to say you won the AFC, you beat the Patriots, possibly beat the Broncos. I mean, you're still going to get because they're going to say it's the weakest the AFC ever was. There's no Mahomes, no Burrow. So you're going to have to face that, especially if you don't win. So you're going to have to get over that fact because you're going to be like, of course the Bills won then. And then they still went and got dog walked by the Rams in the Super Bowl. So I think, like, I need it all, baby. I can't just stop at the AFC. Obviously,
I need it all, baby.
We all do, but I think we'll face just as much wrath losing in the AFC Championship game as we would. Pretty close to the Super Bowl, just be due to the fact that, like, you guys had a free walk to the Super Bowl, even though all these other teams couldn't even make the playoffs. But apparently, it's going to be a free walk. Like the thing the Bills do have for them going for them, they beat all those teams. So ultimately, they'd be like, the Bills beat them in the regular season. Yes, the regular season is not important, but you didn't make the playoffs. The Bills beat you then and made the playoffs. So ultimately, at full strength, I mean, the Chiefs were at full strength until the last half drive yesterday. So ultimately, like, they were done. Like, they probably win yesterday, though. I think that's the thing, and probably help the Bills. That's the one time the Chiefs probably could have helped the Bills a little bit if you're really after the 5 seed. I think they win that game. They come back. The Chargers look terrible, in my opinion. I think they were going to score there. And then Minshew forced that ball. But ultimately, I think I'm pretty excited that I'm with Z-Bot, make the Super Bowl. Then you have that. We're going to have to face the schedule and the path argument. So I think the only way to combat that is to go beat a good NFC team. But I think we'll face close to just as much wrath by losing the Super Bowl as our fifth Super Bowl loss, fifth in our, really fifth not consecutive, but in a row games we played in. Like, I don't know, going 0-5 is tough.
And so if we make it,
hear that a lot.
And so if we make it, I need a win, man. I need it. I need that damn win. I'll be happy to be there. But damn,
I think everyone agrees, but it's just that whole argument of like just winning the AFC is a nice step, I guess. But we're gonna hear the path of all years of we win, and of course we go and lose that year too. We gotta win.
Fun announcement, boys. Right now, not only are there 196 people tuning in on YouTube right now. Very excited about this Bills Victory Monday. We have 989 subscribers on this channel right now. Okay. And I'm going to tell you this. Out of the 196 people watching, I can guarantee you, all right, that there are at least 40 of you that are not subscribed to the channel. Do us a favor. Let's go ahead and hit 1,000 on this stream right now, baby. Hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications. You already know what it is all about. Get us to 1,992 now. Guys, come on. Who's the 1,000th, man? Look at that. Anyway, guys, we also need to give a giant shout out to our good friends over at Picasso's Pizza. #1 pizza in the Western New York area, 4 great locations, and they are delivering nationwide. As long as you go to their website and hit that nationwide button, you can mail pizza all throughout the continental United States. A great little Christmas gift for somebody who is perhaps displaced from the Western New York area and misses a taste of home. But guys, 10-4. It's been a roller coaster of a season so far this year. But at the end of the day, it's 10 wins, right? 7 seasons in a row, 10 plus wins. I thought I heard something that only 6 or 7 teams have done that in history, back to back to back to back to back. So it's nice. But now it's starting to get into the important time. We have the Browns in Cleveland, who present some challenges defensively. You have the Philadelphia Eagles coming into Buffalo. And last but not least, the Red Helmet game. I just want to finish strong, baby. 13-4 and go on a damn run. Z-Bot, what do you got to tell the audience before we let them go?
What an incredible win. I mean, that was an amazing W. Don't take it for granted because that felt like it was going to be an L and it wasn't. This Bills team is finding a way to overcome. They're doing so late in the season here. As we just surpassed 1,000 subs. How about that, Dan? Way to get on the people here. You asked, they delivered. So how about that? Shout out to you. That's an incredible feat. We just started the channel recently, so that's awesome. And we really appreciate each and every one of you. That is terrific. But a big W. Bills are stacking W's now, and they're doing so in a pretty emphatic way. I mean, man, it's not easy on the body, but it is fun to celebrate once they come and go. So hopefully they can continue to roll here. And you got to think they have the ability to do it. 2 of the 3, you would think most people, if not everyone, is penciling the Bills in for W's against the Browns and the Jets. It's that Eagles game. It's at home. It's in Buffalo. The Eagles have not been very good this season. Let's just face it. Outside of that Raiders game, they haven't been good at all the last month. So, and it's at home.
The Eagles are, and so the Eagles are exactly who some Bills fans think the Bills are.
Yeah, except the
that makes sense.
Right. And the difference is they don't have a quarterback that can overcome. They just don't. They don't have the guy that can overcome the inefficiencies. So the Bills have a path here to really end the season strong and go into the postseason looking like one of the better teams in the league. So I'm excited for it. I can't believe it's already mid-December. Only a few games left here, and then it starts to get serious like it does every year. And hopefully this is the year with the way things are panning out.
It is a great feeling. Kev, what do you got for the people?
Appreciate everybody hitting us to 1K subs. It is a new channel. It is a compilation of all of our takes and YouTube presences and Twitter presences. So we really appreciate listening to all of our different styles. That is really cool to see as we continue to grow, hopefully by the off season. But I loaded up to see some advanced analytics recently, and I clicked over to PFF. They actually have Greg Rousseau as the 8th rated D end. I thought that was really fun. Like there's the 8th rated D end. Joey Bosa 16th, Daquan Jones 9th. They like the D line a lot.
They do.
I just noticed that, and it's so funny how like vastly different everybody is everywhere on who you like on this roster. I think that's what makes it a little bit fun though. Who Z-Bot likes. I know Z-Bot's had some hard times with Trey White. We all like, maybe like a little bit different of a style of roster here. So I think that's what makes this thing fun. And everybody goes back to how much does Josh Allen carry this roster? And I think there's just so many awesome ideas on how much he helps. If he's slow, the whole team's slow. If he's fast, the whole team's fast. I think it's fascinating to me, like how all of this all plays together. And just giving him the number one O-line was one of the better weapons we could do for him. It really doesn't feel like it sometimes, but I promise you, it is one of the better weapons that won him an MVP, and hopefully now better hardware this year. I will see if this run game travels. Joe Brady is so good late in years, guys. That's the one thing that is analytically proven. Like he is really good late in season. He's 20-2. Like at some point, like late in years, he gets it going. So we'll see if he can carry that into the playoff, including the playoffs. So we'll see if he can carry that into the playoffs. I mean, that's like one of the biggest things that I have is how talented they are at home, and they get the Eagles at home. I really think they win out. I got them winning out. We'll see if the Eagles, or we'll see if somebody can give the Bills some help here.
What version of the Eagles shows up in Buffalo? We will see. Who knows? Anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. We started in September.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, August.
September, I think we started. That's great.
Right around that time.
That's beautiful.
Awesome.
That's beautiful. Folks, listen, while you subscribe, make sure you turn on the bell notifications as well. And yeah, we'll go from there. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Peace.